What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a great day today. My name is Chris Weiser. If you can't tell, there you go. You can read behind me. That's a fancy new sign. It's even got a remote. Check that. Got a remote. Turn it on and off. Pretty cool. Pretty exciting for me. It's the little things in life that get me going. Okay, so I'm going to be rolling solo today. We had a couple of options. I had a cancellation of a guest, so I had to pivot. And I was trying to bring you guys some incident response stuff. So I'm going to table that to next week. But I'm going to give you a little precursor and a little bit of mindset of where I'm coming from related to MSPs and some of the things that I've learned over the last few weeks, few months here on where to go. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes of just intro here. Going to talk about our live event really quick. And then as we get some more viewers, just want to give people a couple minutes to get in the room. Want to kind of talk a little bit about our live event. Really, really excited. We're going to be 2 weeks from today. We're going to be in Orlando. So today, right now, for everybody listening on the podcast or anybody listening on the recording, it is noon Central Time, Central Standard Time. October 12th, 2022 is right now. So 2 weeks from today, we're going to be in Orlando. And I'm going to share our screen here really quick. Let me just bring that up. That should work. Actually, yeah, there we go. So this is our URL for this. It's live.sevenfiguremsp.com. Based in Orlando, the whole concept is unlock the magic in your MSP. We have a 2.5 day amazing training event. We have a pre-day. If you guys want to come to the pre-day, it's on Tuesday. That'd be Tuesday. Let me just clarify the date, the October 25th. And I'm just going to kind of go through the agenda on the rest of this stuff for you. We've had some massive, amazing results at this show. We have 250 plus MSPs going to be there at this event. See, we've had huge numbers, huge crowds. It's been fantastic. But the whole goal here is to help you grow. And I know a lot of people, I put some comments about, are you coming to our live event? A lot of people are like, no, we're working, we're busy. Hey guys, I get that. I totally understand that. I owned an MSP for 10 plus years. I understand it's important to work inside of your business. I'm not going to debate that, especially as you're growing, especially as you're scaling. But a couple things that are really, really critical is you have to make sure that you're working on your business too. And I know this is hard. In fact, I just came off of a call with a young man earlier today. We're kind of working on some lead generation stuff. And he's going to be doing some cold emailing and some lead generation for us. And he's a solopreneur. And he just started kind of asking. He's a 24-year-old kid. I say kid, but I guess he's a grown man. But he's asking me all these questions about scale. And the number one thing I gave him, actually, he was asking me more about growth. And the number one advice I gave him was you have to learn how to scale. You have to learn how to work on your business. Now, again, not going to debate. Working in your business is critical, especially early, right? Especially early. There's only one person usually been there. But you have to think about how fast you'll burn out, how fast you'll struggle. All those things are real, and you have to try and overcome that. And anybody that meets me in person or I talk to in person, the biggest things that I tell them is you have to get out of the day-to-day. You have to get out of the trenches. So and events like this doesn't have to be mine, okay? I would love to have you at our live event, but make sure you're going to some. Make sure you're working on your business. Make sure you're thinking about scale. Before I had money in my MSP, I hired a help desk guy. And part of the problem is this industry has underpriced for so long. They've under profit margined for so long that you're scrambling for cash that you can't even put food on the table, let alone hire a tech. You should have 6 months in the bank before you even start a business. Most people are doing this on the side and they're just okay, I'm going to go right away. And they quit a job and then they go and then they're literally trading hours for dollars and they're scrambling. So my point to all the stuff, please make sure that you work on your business. Please make sure that you scale and go to events like this. Doesn't have to be mine. ASCII has some great stuff. ConnectWise has some great stuff. Channel Pro has some great stuff. There's all kinds of amazing events all around the world that you can go to. Get out of the trenches, work on your business. Just a couple of quick things. Here's our scale. Here's our schedule. I'm so stuck on scale. Here's our baseline schedule for the live event. We got our pre-day workshop on Tuesday, October 25th. registration. Then we got our VIP welcome reception for our elite members that are actually coaching clients. We'll have over 150 members at this event as well. We have our Trailblazer dinner. That's a custom dinner that will be for our high-end mastermind guys. We got 2 different coaching programs. We have our baseline, and then we got our baseline plus the Trailblazers. And then here's kind of our next day schedule, day 1, and we start at basically 9 a.m., go until 5 p.m., and then we have a magic show coming. That's going to be really cool. And then we have an evening event at Howl at the Moon. It's a dueling piano place downtown Disney area there on iDrive. So it's place is pretty cool. And then day 2, we got all that. Just want to go through a couple of the great speakers we have. Our keynote for the week is Dick Vitale. If you guys don't know who Dick Vitale is, Dickie V, some amazing stuff. He's a college basketball guy, works for ESPN, ABC Sports, all this different stuff, but he's fantastic. We also have Giovanni Rivera coming. We also have Chet Holmes' daughter, Amanda Holmes, coming. So she's going to be doing a session. Let me just scroll down to this really quick here. She's going to be doing a session on day 2. So really all about the unlocking your dream 100. So my point is, we got a great event coming for you guys. I'm very, very excited about it. You can go ahead and register at live.sevenfiguremsp.com. Okay, that's enough talking about that. I want to talk a little bit about my content today. I'm going to be a little bit shorter than usual because it's just Chris. And if you guys got any questions, somebody had my friend David here from Austin just asked what's for lunch. David, I'm having just so you know, David, this is for you. I'm having a Celsius, and then I'm having a like a chicken fajita on almond flour tortillas just for you, just so you know that, buddy. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about incident response. So MSPs are kind of in a unique spot right now. And I had Brian Horning on a couple weeks ago, and we talked a lot about incident response. He's been fortunate enough to have a really solid stack. He's been charging a good amount for 3 years. And when I say a good amount, he's been charging $275 to $300 per seat in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for an all-inclusive seat for about 3 years now, maybe even a little bit longer than that. But he's done a good job charging the right amount, getting the right percentage of profit so he can actually deliver the services that really help prevent things. Now, what I've also seen on the flip side of it, so that's like one side of it. On the flip side of it, I've seen multiple MSPs. I don't think we have anybody in our program that's run into this, but we've seen multiple MSPs that they're kind of up against a wall because they've not increased pricing for clients for a long time. In fact, had a guy, here's a great example. This one just popped into my head. Had a guy the other day that has 42 clients. He told me he's got 42 clients, no contracts for anybody. So he's all handshake deals, invoice only, that kind of concept. And he's sitting there charging them about $85 a seat per month at all of his clients. That's his average across all of them. And he's providing a various levels of stack for all these people in various different scenarios for these people. But he's not had the cybersecurity conversation. He's also terrified to go talk to them about increasing their rates. Now, his whole thing is, I'm going to increase your rates because I haven't increased you in a long time. When in reality, what our recommendation is, first of all, you have to have the cybersecurity conversation. Second of all, you should be using risk, the risk that they have on their networks, the risk that they have on all their things. All of this should be what's driving them to the price increase. Times have changed. We're doing things differently now. I have to have a deeper stack. I have to have better techs. I have to outsource some services. I have to do all these different things. So we have to put that in front of them. Otherwise, they're going to be in a place where they're going to get hit. And even if you have the right toolkit in place, let's go back to Brian Horning. Brian, in his case, has the right tool set in place. He's got cybersecurity liability insurance. He's got all these pieces to where he's got the right stuff in place. So when his clients get hacked, he's been lucky enough not to have that happen. But he's going to have a scenario where he has a client that gets hacked. It's going to happen. You can't stop it. Any MSP that sits here and tells me that they can stop all hacks, you're living in a dream world. You can't, because you can't control so many variables of it. So what are you going to happen? What are you going to do? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Brian's in a case where he's provided that full complete stack. Okay. So when it comes around to them getting hacked, I did everything I could. Best effort now. That's where we're sitting. And he's got plausible, not even deniability, but he can sit there and say, look, I did everything I could. I put the tools in. We applied for your application. It's got all the things listed in your application. So what's going to happen? And when I talk about the application, it's your insurance industry application. So he's going to come around to his clients getting hit. They're going to control recover. They're going to limit the damage, limit the blast radius. They're going to control recover, and they're going to do their best to get their insurance claim paid. And more than likely, they're going to get the claim paid. But then we have the other end of the spectrum, which is the MSP that does not want to put the tools in or doesn't have the money because they've not charged. They've not had that conversation like the gentleman I talked to earlier this week. And he's going to be in a very different situation because, and I will give you an example of this. We've had a couple of scenarios in my coaching program where we've had MSPs that have had clients get hacked. Luckily, they've gone through most of what we call the play. Excuse me, my Celsius is giving me a little bit of a gas there. So they've run the play. And when we call it the play, it's doing a cybersecurity risk assessment, talking about the risk with them, having the cybersecurity conversation, having the you're going to get hacked conversation, also giving them an option to either say, yes, I'm in, or I want to stay where I'm at. Well, this client in this specific situation decided to stay where they were at, and they got hacked. They had a $100,000 plus business email compromise, and they immediately pointed fingers at my client. And he said, well, look, I tried to tell you that. Here's the letter I gave you to tell you that I'm advising you of this, and this is what we're going to do. And they said, okay, fine. And they went to their insurance company. Insurance company also pointed their finger at him, said, hey, why didn't you protect them? He said, I tried. I had the conversation. Here's the letter I gave them, telling them that I'm advising them to put coverage in, all these different things. And they went back to the client, and they paid 10% of the employee claim, or the client claim. So they had $135,000 actual loss, and then the client had to pay for all the forensics, all the breach coaching, and all these other things. And my client did the right thing by not touching the environment until they talked to the insurance company and the attorney and all these other pieces to make sure. Now, this is where the incident response stuff comes into play. And I don't care what country you're in the world. I know we're going to have a lot of people watching this from all over the world. And I don't care where you are, because for the most part, this stuff is pretty even now. What are you going to do when you have a client? Because I want you to think about two things in this scenario. One is recovery. How are they going to recover financially? And then two, think about the incident response scenario related to what have MSPs traditionally done anytime there's a virus? Wipe, reload, right? Or at the very least, let's clean it all up. And basically, if you think about what we're doing in that scenario, and this is where we're going down this path in the MSP industry, we are going down the path of that is a crime scene. Let's think about my client that had his business email compromised. The first call was to the attorney. Second call was to the insurance broker or the insurance underwriting department, the claims department. And they said, oh, stop. Do not touch anything. This is now an investigative scene. And I guess it's one thing if you're in a small business with no regulation or no certification or no legislation at all. But the second you go to insurance, crime scene, because they're paying money, and maybe not a crime scene in that scenario, but they're paying money on a claim. And if you touch it as an MSP, what are the chances the claim gets paid, or what are the chances you get blamed? So I want you guys to be thinking about that. Over the next few weeks here, I'm going to be bringing on some experts to talk about this. I'm going to bring on some MSPs to talk about it. I'm also going to be bringing on some MSP vendors to talk about it as well and get their opinions, because where this is going, we're going to have an insurance underwriter come on with us. Where this is going is no longer can you wipe and reload. You have to cease work. More than likely, if it's a regulated industry, either financially or medical or maybe government regulated industry, they're going to seize everything. They're going to literally, it's almost like they're going to put the yellow crime scene tape around it. And what can you do to a crime scene? Nothing. Or you become responsible for what happened in the crime scene and maybe even a cover-up. So I want you guys, especially the ones that are talking about this on the Reddit channels anonymously, the ones that are talking about it in my Facebook group, my Facebook groups, the one on my LinkedIn groups, all this other stuff, the one you guys, and I watch this stuff, you guys are actively saying, I had a client did this, I went in and cleaned up everything, and we still see resident issues, or maybe they came back after them a second time. I want you to think about that and think about the crime scene scenario with it. Some industries were not there. Regulated industries were there. Medical, financial, government, you're there. I don't care what country you're in, you're there. And the other thing that's coming in the law is mandatory reporting. So these are things that I want you guys to be thinking about as you're going into clients that have an active hack or have a ransom scenario, or even we're in a situation now where we have potential antivirus, virus stuff, malware stuff. How much of it is covering up a crime? I want you to be thinking about that. And we're going to be talking about it over the next few weeks. Okay. That all being said, I'm going to bounce for today. Going to be short and quick, easy today, just because I had my guest cancel, but I want to still come on and talk to you guys about this because I think it's an important scenario and it's an important pre-frame for you to think about where we are potentially going to sit with our guests that come on. And we're going to start announcing our guests a little bit early. It's a pretty new deal that we're doing. It's our third week doing the lunch along with Chris. So we'll do that. And would love to see any of you guys in Orlando with me 2 weeks from today. And really excited about our live event. And I'll also be speaking at IT Nation, just so you guys know that as well. That's also in Orlando. Got a lot of travel coming up over the next month here, starting this Friday. So it's going to be a lot for me. So, okay, we'll see you guys soon. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you back here on Lunch and Learn with Chris and the 7 Figure MSP podcast next week, Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.